Why is there symbiote on the walls? Well, you see, when the universe was created, what we see here in this game is something that comes from Zoroastrianism. Zoroastrian dualism. That's the word. Because in Zoroastrianism, the whole balance of the universe is between light, is between Ormazd and Ahriman, as they're referred to in this game. And so this whole idea of like the enemy is the embodiment of darkness, and in order to defeat them, you need to have this person who's like made out of light. That's just, ooh, I'm digging the symbolism, and I'm glad. Like, I'm not Zoroastrian, but based on, you know, shared beliefs that I have with the Zoroastrians, I feel like this is a really nice way to sort of personify that idea of the Zervan dualism. See, look at this. It's like inky and it's black and it reaches for you when you walk too close to it. Oh, love the character design, even though it's just background. And yes, that freeze that you just saw was on purpose. That was making sure that I pushed the button before falling off the wall. Right? It's just little things like that. And then eventually, once you know what buttons to push, and you know what distances you can cover and stuff like that, you feel it. You feel it. And that color change, also on purpose. That was a reminder that I'm about to fall, so I need to do something that's going to help me. And there's no fall damage. Messed that up too. Had time to save. Where am I going? Where am I going? I'm going that way. Did I go the wrong way? Oh yeah, here's the garden that I gotta go to. Perfect. Oh no, it was an illusion. Oh, this is the concubine. Okay. If the stream stops, it's because this character is very suggestive.
That's the thing with life. It's so confusing. You think you know where you are, then
True story, concubine. Think you know where you are, and then everything changes.
But all she has in her heart is purpose. She serves her leader. She serves Ormazd.
True story, concubine. Why are you showing me the button colors? I don't know where the buttons are. Okay. Maybe I should. Oh, I saw somebody on TikTok putting a sticky note on their screen with the button colors and their position. Maybe I should try that so I know where the buttons are. Sorry, I forgot I had to tap it repeatedly. See, this is what I like. I want to bring this game into my classroom and like, hey kids, when we're talking about our religion, imagine this. Also, going back to the religious part, this game portraying Ahriman as a lesser being than Ormazd, and Ormazd being like this unseen force is like super critical in Mazdaean Zoroastrianism. Not Zervan Zoroastrianism, which is what I was talking about before, but Mazdaean Zoroastrianism, which is the idea that the reason the universe exists. So the Zervan one is the reason the universe exists is because light is battling dark, and the universe that we live in is the battlefield of light and dark, which is what this game is talking about. Mazdaean Zoroastrianism presupposes the light. The light is, I guess, the god, if you want to use that terminology. But the light is the natural state of being, whereas darkness is infringing upon the light and needs to be taken care of. How do I get? Can I go up? Ooh, I can climb this. Okay. Cool. Here comes the rock monster. such... Oh, look at him. Look at his left arm. Such good character design. I love this so much. Look at the little spirals on his arm. The warrior cannot be harmed with swords and magic. Use the environment to defeat him. I think I remember this. I need to dodge. The Tower of A.R. Rahman. That's why it's a dollar. That was a bad joke. It's I'm gonna see if I have like 1x1s. For those of you who are just joining, I don't know which buttons I'm supposed to push during QuickTime events on this game because I'm using a controller that I'm not used to. So I have built this, and this tells me where all the buttons are on my controller, I think. Hold on, let me look. Oops. Push the button. Yeah? Close? Pretty close? Red, yellow, green, blue? Cool. I'm going to put this on my screen, on my monitor, so that when the QuickTime events hit, I know what I'm supposed to click on. And that is going to be my cheat. I know some people stick stuff on their screen so that they can like help aim and stuff. I'm sticking stuff on my screen so that I know what color button to push at any given time. Also, I love how this game is definitely a platformer that is disguised as not a platformer. Makes me feel like I'm figuring out where to go and I'm not just going in the one direction I can go in. Why is there symbiote on the walls? Well, you see, when the universe was created, there was first, well, it depends on what religion you are, I guess. There was at first a force of light called Ahura Mazda. And yes, the car is named after Ahura Mazda. So, the Lord of Light and Knowledge, Ahura Mazda, which the car is named after, created an alternative force called not the Lord, but like the Prince of Darkness, like a demigod of darkness named Ahriman. And the universe that we live in is the battlefield between light and dark. And so, this symbiote on the wall is the manifestation of Ahriman's darkness. And it is my job, with my light-up girlfriend, with my light-up girlfriend, to defeat this darkness once and for all, and return the order back to the light. And so that, I'm assuming based on the names that they've used in this game. So I'm assuming because Ubisoft Montreal actually put some research into their video games that that's what's going on here. And even with this, like this game, if you don't care about the world that it's in and you just like the pretty colors and the combos, that's fine. But while I'm playing through it, I'm thinking back to these are the parts that the game developers pulled from scripture. Pulled from the Zend Avesta, pulled from Zoroastrianism, pulled from real life things, or like real life mythology that people actually promote, in order to create an in-depth world. And then the series that this sort of was supposed to be a partner of from Ubisoft is the same thing. This is the actual history of our actual world, but we're going to change one thing. And the one thing that they changed was the Nazaris, the assassins still assassinate people, and the Templars still secretly run things, right? The Templars and Assassins are still having their holy war. That's the one thing that they changed, and it made a very successful, in my opinion, world for their video game series. Also, I know I've already talked about how the corruption here looks like ink. I don't think I've talked about how the light also looks like ink in this game. This one is not Islamic fanfiction. This is Zoroastrian fanfiction. But yeah. Different religion. And most Muslims would be very, very angry if you got the two confused. Islam is not Zoroastrian. Islam is a monotheistic religion. Zoroastrianism is a dualistic religion. If you're looking at Mazdaean Zoroastrianism, and it's monotheistic if you're looking at Zoroastrianism. So there's different, belief systems. But there's also not a lot of Zoroastrians left in the world to tell you what's what, because of the Muslims. Muslims are a huge fan of just not letting Zoroastrians live in peace, which is part of the reason why, it's not directly the reason, but that's partially the reason why this character that I'm playing as, Al-Tayyar Ibn Ahad, only had one game in the Assassin's Creed series, is because the Muslims got mad at that too. So, one of the books that's on my to finish list, because I've started reading it, I'm about halfway through, but it's very, very difficult. I'm taking 5 sticky notes of notes for every page that I read. And the pages are only half pages, because the footnotes take up the other half of the page with translations and stuff. So it's a very difficult book to get into, but it talks about some of the overlap between Zoroastrian beliefs and specifically Nizari beliefs, which is another reason why Muslims don't like Nizaris. The main belief in question so far is exactly what's being talked about in this game, is this sort of balance between light and dark, as our world exists in 4 dimensions. We have the 3 dimensions of space and time. The shared belief is that of a 4th dimension, and that is a dimension that they refer to as the dimension of light, which you can see with the symbolism of this game with the light and darkness. But it is the presence of divinity in people, in animals, in spaces, right? So you can visualize it the same way that you'd visualize an electron field or a neutrino field or something like that, where there's excitations of light. Symbolic light, not literal light. And those excitations can interact with each other and grow each other and shrink each other and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting theory to go about. But it's very difficult because it's combining, the Muslim theology with the Zoroastrian cosmology with science. And it's also written by Henri Corbin, who is 18th century and French and just very hard to get through. So, I made a TikTok about that when I started the book and I got through the first chapter. And I'm like, this is so interesting. But that's from 2019. And obviously the more Zahiri, I don't know what the proper English term for that would be. The more Zahiri interpretation of that is that excitation of light is manifested in prayer and good deeds and all the things that the religion tells you to do. But the Batini explanation, which Corbin goes into, is a little bit more nuanced than that. So it's one of those things where in order to explain it to someone, you need to understand where they're coming from already. So, yeah.